Welcome to another episode of our Unstoppable Dream YouTube channel.
Hello,
Oh,
hello. Welcome back. Jessica and Jamie here.
I'm going to pull a card and see what kind of conversation we're going to be having today. Oh, one just fell out. Love when that happens. Okay, this is from the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. Okay, this is what came out. Kalima, fierce love. Um, these are really long descriptions in here. Let me see if I can find this one. I won't read the whole thing. Um, I think I just passed it. Okay, I'm just going to read a little bit of this actually.
Perfect.
Let me just find out the most important thing to read here. Well, so Kali Ma, right, represents the divine feminine and even like the divine rage that is within all of us and like honoring all of the emotions, right? And everything that is there is kind of what I think about. Um, Kali Ma boldly stands as the divine feminine in all her naked power and potential. Fearless and hot-blooded, she is especially adept at calling forth rage. Her wrath is fueled by love and unleashed upon the demons that block the path of enlightenment. Whether pushed to your limits in a relationship or outraged at injustice in the world, your rage can also serve as a catalyst for spiritual growth. Let your hair loose and your passion. Honor your rawness, your tears and screams are all part of the wild dance of liberation.
Mm.
I'm going to close my window because the traffic is super loud.
Okay. I actually really love this card for today. I feel like it was like so for me. I'm feeling like
Uh-huh.
super like tender today. Like I'm on my moon time also, so I'm just like feeling
Hmm.
extra tender, right? And I just like I just have to like let the tears come, and I don't even know what they're
Yeah.
about, right? Like it's like I don't even necessarily know, but it's like there's just so much there, and I love this idea of like the that like fierce love, right? And like our rage having medicine in it, because I know for me, it's like I've like up until now, I've kind of been scared of my anger, like scared of my rage, because it's been
Hmm.
an issue in the past, right? So it's like
Yeah.
got the message that it's a bad thing, like I need to keep it under wraps. And so it's like really learning how to express that and let that powerful energy, because that's what it is, right? It's a powerful energetic force to really be able to move through me and be expressed in, a healthy way, a way that serves me and continues to like fuel my fire, and not like suppress. um
Yeah. That's
that's what.
initially what I was thinking about too, is like how do you channel, because that's my story too, is like very much a lot of rage when I was growing up. I mean, a lot of stories I could share right now that are like mind blowingly like, holy shit, that you did that, Jamie, like really bad. Maybe I'll share one day. um, but it's making me think of like, how do you channel that into something different besides like the reaction? I mean, what tools do you have that you use? Anything like that comes to your mind?
For me,
Trying to think for
movement,
myself.
like when I'm really thick
Yeah.
in it, is like doing some kind of move. Like I've got different like body kind of mudras things, or like even just shaking. Like I love to just shake. Like I'll put on some
Yes.
like either like hardcore, like, techno or something, or gangster rap, like something I can just really like shake out to. So that's a good go-to to me. Like going in nature and just like laying on the ground and like letting the earth kind of absorb it. Screaming into a pillow, like just like really trying to let it out. And these are new practices, like
Mm-hmm.
fairly new practices for me, because up until now I'd either just come out sideways on the wrong person or I'd be suppressing it,
Yeah.
right? Which obviously was a lot of consequences to that. So yeah. I feel like when it's more refined, I can kind of let it out of the canvas sometimes, or like
Yeah.
a creative project. I'm an excellent house cleaner when I'm pissed.
It's a good way to get things done.
I mean, but that's a good example of like really turning it into fuel, right? It's like not just sitting with it.
Right.
Cause like for me, it can really activate some like not so friendly thought processes if I don't get it
Yep.
out of my body pretty quick. Like if I don't allow it to move through me, it can really just set off like a train of mechanisms that do not end well for me or anybody in the surrounding area.
I think anger is one of the ones I'm still working with a lot. Like if I get annoyed, like I don't feel like I really experience. I mean, there's some things I get angry about. I can find myself stewing on it. Like some people that annoy me, like sometimes I'll find myself like going to their Facebook page just to see what kind of stupid things they're posting now, and like then I'll like that'll like kind of fuel it, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't know if anybody else does that. um and you know, our reactions to things are habitual, so this has been a really hard one for me to completely stop, because like if I'm really angry, like sometimes I'm like, I'm not just gonna go whip out a dance right now, like I'm just not. I'm like so angry, like I can't even do that. So I'm trying, I think for me, I'm trying to bring like conscious awareness to it, right, to just observe, like, oh wow, I'm like really angry, like, you know, we talked about this last night in circle, allowing the space, almost like I almost have to like catch myself first, because all the reactions are so habitual that I'll just be so annoyed. I'll like send my friend a voice text like, ah, can you believe this person did this at work? God, I'm so pissed off. I can't even deal with this. Right. It just automatically turns into like a vent session, which, you know, I'm not like punching anybody. So that's good. Right. But, or, and what I'm really trying to cultivate is like allowing that space for it first. So bringing it into like the consciousness of like, oh, wait a second, I'm feeling angry. How do I relax the part of me that's observing the anger? And then, you know, do whatever I need to do from there. I guess I'll have to pay attention to this more, because I'm honestly like, I'm not even sure what kind of practices I have. Um, so yeah, this is good food for thought.
Well, and I think for me too, because I was really just thinking about like the really big moments, but I have to kind of really sit back and think. It's like, well, when I'm just like irritated or annoyed, you know, and so it's like I was like
Yeah.
thinking even this morning, I was like I got irritated and I reacted before I like because it was just such a tiny little thing, but it was an irritation, you know, like I was irritated.
Right.
I projected it out and I had to go clean it up and be like, actually, it wasn't about the dog outside, you know, or whatever. So
Yes.
yeah, it's like these little slights that kind of can get for me can get swept under the rug or just not processed in the right way necessarily. So I love that we're talking about this again, like providing space between the reactions because you're right, they are so habitual. It's such like
Right. Yeah. And you know, we're taught that like you kind of mentioned this earlier, like, oh, you shouldn't be angry, or it's wrong to be angry, whatever. But it's not, right? I mean, because if you're feeling something, you should be feeling it because that's what you're feeling. So you can't just shut that down, right? I mean, you can, but it's going to have to come up eventually. So it doesn't really work in the long run. Yeah.
yeah. When I was also
Hmm.
thinking too about like how like our irritation or our rage or anger or whatever it is also like a good gauge for when like when a boundary is being crossed, right? Or if like something's happening, like if I continue to be irritated about like this is like up for me a lot lately. It's like I continue to be irritated and annoyed about the same things. And it's like, okay, is this something in me I need to change, or is there just something out of alignment here, right? Like if I'm doing
Yeah.
everything I can and everything over there is going, it's like, is this just continuing to show me that whatever this is out of alignment because it's continuing to ruffle my feathers and say, like, no, this isn't okay for me. Like, no, this isn't okay for me. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, I
And
think that
something,
go ahead, sorry.
yeah. You know, we're always like, ah. Something that came up when you said that is when you said, is this something that needs to change for me? But what also came up, or is it something that you need to accept? Right? Because I feel like sometimes we're constantly like battling the external world. You know, you see this a lot in like partnerships or relationships, right? Even, you know, work thing, you're not happy with work, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, sure, you can battle. Maybe it isn't for you, right? But most of the battle is within ourselves. It's, we either have to accept it or we make a change. But if we're staying in it, I think what we're really mad at is ourselves for that. And it's like, you don't have to do that. you can leave if you want to, or, right? Like, I mean, of course, it's situational dependent. There's so many different scenarios that could be going on for this, but um, yeah. There's something else here at the end of this reading that I want to share. So it says, Kali Ma comes to you with fierce love, challenging you to dance upon the corpse of that which no longer serves. Something greater will emerge. What destructive patterns in yourself can be slain so that your love can flow unbounded? What illusions can be sacrificed in the name of freedom and truth? Put your trust in the questions themselves. Abide in this. The holy grit of your own fierce love will clear the path forward. So, what destructive patterns in yourself can be slain so that your love can flow unbounded? I think, now that I'm thinking about this, it is interesting because really when I'm getting annoyed with things, I'm getting annoyed or angry at what is, you know. So I do a little bit of customer service in my job, and sometimes people will write in and I'm like, it's the dumbest thing, or like, I've already told you the answer to this, or, like, why are you asking this question again? And I'm getting so annoyed and so frustrated, but it's like, well, this is just something that happened. And it's really good feedback, like how I think that's what it is channeling that reaction to like one of like, okay, what is the feedback I'm receiving from this? Like, what do I need to do to move forward? Accept or change something, right? So this could be really good in like a leadership position. Okay, well, we're just going to accept that a lot of people aren't understanding this. And we're going to have to answer a lot of questions. Okay, great. Or like, you know what? People aren't understanding this. Do we need to change our processes? Maybe we need to put something else in place. We need a new document. We need a new training document, so spiritual practice and business, right? It's all connected.
Absolutely. And I just love that you keep bringing in this acceptance piece because it's like, I really, like, I need some work in this area, because I'm so like, I don't know if it's like that triple Taurus or what, but I'm like, no, I do not accept this. I do not accept, and I think so much of my like dis-ease within me and discontentment could really be like relaxed if I could really just not argue with what is and just truly
Yeah.
accept it. Because even before I change it, there needs to be some level of acceptance or I'm leaving like with my panties in a ruffle, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
there needs to be some level of like, okay, I'm accepting that like this is not for me. I need to make some change, right? Like there's still like I feel like acceptance is always the first thing. So I love that you like are bringing this in. Because it to me that's like that relaxation of the consciousness. If I can truly accept what's coming at me and like trust that everything coming at me is exactly what's supposed to
Uh-huh.
be coming at me, even if I don't like it in the moment. Because Byron
Yeah.
Katie talks about that a lot, like with the work. She's like, "You're arguing with
Yeah.
reality, dear. You're arguing with reality, dear.
Yeah.
Like if you're upset, you're arguing with reality." It's like, so true, so
I
true.
think people feel like it's hard to accept things because then you're like a walking doormat. But that's not what that means. It's like, again, it's like feedback. Like I kind of just gave the example at my job, right? So like it's like, but how can you radically accept things? Because if we were all good at accepting things, everyone would be like, there'd be a lot more peace in the world, right? You'd just be like, oh, I accepted that my husband just cheated on me, right? But that's usually not the case, right? Because then we feel like a walking doormat. I can't accept that. Then I'm telling him that what he did was right. You know what I mean? But it's not that. But it's something that happened. Like it fucking happened. So you have no other choice but to accept it. And if you don't accept it, you are only fighting with yourself, but it appears that you're fighting with the external world, right? And our thoughts about things, not the thing that happened, it's our thoughts about them that really create our karma. So it's like, how do we accept, transmute that energy up, that anger, worry, fear, I mean, whatever is coming, and then do what we need to do from there. But when we're working from that space of clearness, because we've created the space, we've shifted things up and out, like we're more in alignment when we're taking action now, right? As opposed to taking action from that other space of fight, right? And then that's just going to be a mess. I mean, and we see that literally happen. Things just become like people literally fight wars, like all this stuff start to happen, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because to me, it's like the whole process. Like if I'm even in that energy of not acceptance, therefore fight or resistance, whichever one it is, then it's like
Mm-hmm.
that energy is what's fueling my thoughts about the situation. So I'm going like
Yeah.
it's an automatic like just based on my experience thus far is that I continue to create karma I don't want in the situations I don't want because like
Yeah.
the energy inside me is fueling thoughts to keep the fight going, keep the resistance going, to list all the reasons why this isn't okay or I so it's like to
Yeah.
me it's a whole like process. I can see how the whole thing starts with like me not accepting what is. um
Yeah.
like it's like that spark that sets off that chain of events.
Yeah.
Because I don't even have to
Perfect
go there if
practice.
I'm in acceptance. I don't even have to go
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's so challenging to do that.
Definitely a practice like you said.
Yeah. Well, that should be what we kind of leave everybody with, like the challenge of accepting what is really hard to accept. Start with the easy things. A good practice is start with the easy things, being stuck in traffic, right? Being stuck at the red light, running late. You get an annoying email like I do, have to answer a question. It's like just accept. Practice with the small things.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And if you need support, if you're a woman and you need support and you want to come to our weekly sharing circles are Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for an hour. So yeah, you'll fill out a form and then we'll send you all the details that you need. 100% free to join the sharing circle. So yeah, we hope to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.